Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me back. You already know what time it is, and we're here today on a beautiful Friday. So, I always do Bible study Thursdays, but today it's a little late, all right? So, it's going to be a Bible study Friday, all right? Guys, yesterday, oh man, I had a really, I would say, eventful week. So, I hope that you guys are okay with the video being uploaded today. I hope that you guys are ready to dive in because we're heading into 2 Samuel chapter 13. All right, and we're gonna see what's going on with David. So guys, I hope that you are having an amazing week. I'm gonna start posting more in the community post so that we can talk, so that we can communicate, so that I can know what's going on with you guys and you can know what's going on with me. All right, so remember, here we are family, all right? You are heard, you are seen, all right? And I care for you because God cares for you, all right? And so I hope that you guys are, doing well. I hope that things are going well for you. And I'm excited to see where the Lord is taking us, all right? Today, I have good feelings, like hopeful. I'm very hopeful for goodness and grace and new windows and new doors of opportunities to open for all of us. All right, so guys, I want us to literally step out on faith. Okay, don't be afraid and move with the Lord. All right, literally take your day, like I love to say, one step at a time. All right, so if it's your first time here, I am Doremi Low, and we are all growing up and glowing up here one step at a time with the Lord God Almighty. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, then don't delay. Go ahead and hit that button. All right, you'll see it's below this video, and make sure that you are subscribed. Okay, we would love to have you on this channel. All right, so that we can literally grow up and glow up together. All right, so guys, let's hop into it. For today, like I said, we're in 2 Samuel chapter 13. And it came to pass after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, the son of David, loved her. All right, so can you see this is terrible? Okay? David has a son, Absalom. Absalom's sister is Tamar, and David has another son with a different wife, and that son's name is Amnon, and he is in love with his sister, his half-sister Tamar. Verse 2, and Amnon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin, and Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimeiah, David's brother. All right? And Jonadab was a very subtle man. So we see here that Amnon has a friend. His friend's name is Jonadab. And who is that? The son of Shimeiah, which is David's brother. So we're getting like another family dynamic, another sibling that I don't think I've heard of Shimeiah before, but that's the brother. And his son is Jonadab. Let's continue to verse 4. And he said unto him, why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day? Will thou not tell me? And Amnon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. Can you imagine the disgust, all right? And also I want you guys to see how these spirits connect themselves to people. Verse 2 says that, and Amnon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar. All right, for she was a virgin, and Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her. He fell sick. And this story here, it reminds me similarly to what Joseph had gone through when he was living in, I believe it was Potiphar's house, all right? And how Potiphar's wife, okay, was trying to set him up because she wanted to have sex with him, all right? So you can see here that the same sickness that was on that wife, Potiphar's wife, it's the same sickness, that same evil spirit of like lust, but it's worse than lust because this is like a sickness. It's like a perversion because also she's a virgin. This is what is on Absalom, all right? I'm sorry, not Absalom. This is on Amnon, okay? And I want us to put the pieces together, because that's the same thing, that's what I'm saying, that happened to Joseph. When Potiphar's wife was in love with Joseph, Joseph was a virgin. All right, so it's really important for us to remember those things, because I think a lot of times people are reading the Bible and they're not connecting the dots. All right, so that's why I'm here, guys. All right, here to help you, boom, connect the dots. Okay, let's continue on. Verse 5. And Jonadab, and you know what's crazy? In verse 2, it shows us too that he wanted to do things to her, okay, but he was unable to. All right, and it made him sick, just like Potiphar's wife. All right, because that lady tried not once, not twice, but multiple times. And you know what's interesting? We get more of a backstory, and I believe it's the book of Jasher, if I'm not mistaken. So we will get there someday, one day. But you know, guys, for now we're just taking it one book at a time. Okay. So verse 5. And Jonadab said unto him, Lay thee down on thy bed and make thyself sick. And when thy father cometh to see thee, say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar come and give me meat, and dress the meat in my sight, that I may see it and eat it at her hand. So Amnon lay down and made himself sick. And when the king was come to see him, and when the king was come to see him, Amnon, it's a lot of wind today, all right, so bear with me. Verse 6 one more time. So Amnon lay down and made himself sick. And when the king was come to see him, Amnon said unto the king, I pray thee, let Tamar my sister come and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat at her hand. Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, Go now to thy brother Amnon's house, and dress him meat. So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was laid down. And she took flour, and kneaded it, and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes. And she took a pan, and poured them out before him, but he refused to eat. And Amnon said, Have out all men from me? And they went out, every man from him. And Amnon said unto Tamar, Bring the meat into the chamber, that I may eat of thine hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made, and brought them into the chamber to Amnon her brother. And when she had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her, and said unto her, Come, lie with me, my sister. Isn't that nasty? Ooh. Talk about incest. And then on top of that, like I said, just sickness all around. Okay, verse 12. And she answered him, Nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not thou this folly? Okay, so she's trying to say, like, you don't know that we're not supposed to do this? Okay, we are Israelites. We don't do that. All right, verse 13. And I, whither shall I cause my shame to go? And as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee. All right, so she's letting him know, like, if you really want me that bad, just go ahead and tell the king, tell my father, tell King David, and he will basically allow for you to, you know, marry me. Verse 14. And guys, forgive my voice. Like I said, I had an eventful week. Verse 14. Howbeit, he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her and lay with her. My. Okay, so ladies, always remember that a man is stronger than you. It doesn't matter how much weight you lift. It doesn't matter your body size. God made men stronger, and women, you know, are the weaker vessel, and that's biblical. Okay. So I want, sorry guys, I want women to be aware of the difference, okay, and to be just careful when you're in a room with a man, all right? If there's something not right with him, if you feel something's a little off, don't even do it to yourself, all right? Because the chances of you being able to overpower him, it's a little slim, all right? So this is extremely terrible what's happening to Tamar. I feel bad for her, you know. I wish there was I hoped that there was a way that she would have been able to get out of this, all right? So verse 14, one more time. Howbeit, he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her and lay with her. Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her. You see? And Amnon said unto her, Arise, be gone. And she said unto him, There is no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than the other that thou didst unto me. But he would not hearken unto her. So she's saying, like, you've already did what you've done. You know, she's no longer a virgin. You might as well keep her. It's worse now that you've taken her virtue, her virginity, and now you're going to send her away because she won't be able to be married. So now it's like he's doing worse things onto her than he did by just raping her. And you could see that this spirit that was on him was a perverted spirit because he doesn't love her. It is not love. And there's a special video that I'm going to do, I think like a spin-off from this text, teaching about virginity and virtue and what it really is, because a lot of people don't even know what sex truly is. It's not until you become an adult, and it's really not until you connect yourself with God that you realize what it is. It's kind of interesting. But like I said, sex is way deeper than people have, than what people can comprehend. Okay? Verse 17. Then he called his servant that ministered unto him and said, Put now this woman out from me, and bolt the door after her. And she had a garment of diverse colors upon her. And it makes me think of Joseph, okay, because he also had the coat of many colors, you see. For with such robes were the king's daughters that were virgins apparelled. Do you see that? Then his servant brought her out and bolted the door after her. And Tamar put ashes on her head and rent her garment of diverse colors that was on her, and laid her hand on her head, and went on crying. And Absalom, her brother, said unto her, Hath Amnon thy brother been with thee? So you see, it's beautiful that her brother Absalom could tell that something was wrong with her. But hold now thy peace, my sister. He is thy brother. Regard not this thing. All right, so he tells her, regard not this thing. So Tamar remained desolate in her brother Absalom's house. So she's like desolate. She knows she can't really marry somebody else because she's not a virgin. All right. Woo, guys, forgive me. This wind today is winding. All right. Verse 21. But when King David heard of all these things, he was very wroth. And Absalom spake unto his brother Amnon neither good nor bad. For Absalom hated Amnon because he had forced his sister Tamar. So we see that King David is very wroth, but we can see that Absalom has taken this way, like, extremely to heart. And Absalom, we see here that he now has a hate for his brother Amnon. And it came to pass after 2 full years that Absalom had sheep shears in Baal Hazor, which is beside Ephraim. And Absalom invited all the king's sons. And Absalom came to the king and said, Behold now, thy servant hath sheep shears. Let the king, I beseech thee, and his servants go with thy servant. And the king said to Absalom, Nay, my son, let us not all now go, lest we be chargeable unto thee. And he pressed him. Howbeit he would not go, but blessed him. Then said Absalom, If not, I pray thee, let my brother Amnon go with us. And the king said unto him, Why should he go with thee? But Absalom pressed him that he let Amnon and all the king's sons go with him. All right, so Absalom has something planned, and he's telling King David, everybody needs to go. These king's sons, and specifically your son Amnon. All right, he's not giving a reason, but he's saying it has to be done. Now Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, Mark ye now, when Amnon's heart is merry with wine, and when I say unto you, Smite Amnon, then kill him. Fear not, have not I commanded you? Be courageous and be valiant. All right, so he tells his servants to kill Amnon. He has a whole plot. Verse 29. And so we see, it's so interesting, the same deception that David had in the last not the last chapter. That's interesting. Yeah, not the last chapter, the chapter previously. We could see that, look at his son now, Absalom, is being deceptive as well. And now he is a murderer because he plans to murder his brother. All right. And it came to pass, while they were in the way, that tidings came to David, saying, Absalom hath slain all the king's sons, and there is not one of them left. Then the king arose and tare his garments and lay on the earth, and all his servants stood. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Verse 29. I skipped a verse. And the servants of Absalom did unto Amnon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose, and every man gaped him up, or rode him up upon his mule, and fled. Verse 30. And it came to pass while they were in the way that tidings came to David, saying, Absalom hath slain all the king's sons, and there is not one of them left. Then the king arose and tare his garments and lay on the earth, and all his servants stood by with their clothes rent. And Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother, answered and said, Let not my lord suppose that they have slain all the young men, the king's sons, for Amnon only is dead. For by the appointment of Absalom this hath been determined, from the day that he forced his sister Tamar. So look, the gentleman who helped to corroborate a plan for Amnon outlives Amnon, and is now the same one, the nephew of King David, coming to tell King David, oh, fear not, it's not all of the sons of the kings that are dead, it's just your son Amnon. Let's continue on. Now therefore let not my lord the king take the thing to his heart, to think that all the king's sons are dead, for Amnon only is dead. But Absalom fled. And the young man that kept the watch lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there came much people by the way of the hillside behind him. All right. And guys, you know, I'm like outside, so you know I always have to be like vigilant, because you know people are crazy. All right. Verse 34 again. But Absalom fled, and the young man that kept the watch lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there came much people by the way of the hillside behind him. All right, so that's really interesting. And Jonadab said unto the king, Behold, the king's sons come as thy servant said, so it is. Verse 36. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end, and guys, you can only imagine how odd people are. Sometimes I don't understand it, you know. But guys, if you want to be a YouTuber, I have to say, you can't care about people, okay? You just gotta create, and at the same time be vigilant and be watchful, okay? But just create, okay? And don't go back to God with your gifts. Use your gifts while you have the time, while we're still here on earth, okay? Verse 36. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of speaking, that behold, the king's sons came and lifted up their voice and wept. And the king also and all his servants wept very sore. But Absalom fled and went to Talmai, the son of Ammihud, king of Geshur. And David mourned for his son every day. So Absalom fled and went to Geshur, and was there 3 years. And the soul of King David longed to go forth unto Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Amnon, seeing he was dead. So this is so interesting, but King David too disliked what Amnon did to his sister Tamar. And so he loves Absalom, and he wants to be where Absalom is. He doesn't go, but he is also comforted, and he feels good, you know, knowing that Amnon was dead, because he knew what Amnon had done to his daughter. All right, but guys, I want us to go back now to 2 Samuel verse 11. All right, this is the chapter where the Lord sent the prophet Nathan, all right, on to David to tell David what was going to happen to him, King David, based on the sins that he had chosen to commit. I want us to focus on verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this sun. Okay, the sun up above, the sun in the sky. For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord, mercy. And Nathan said unto David, The Lord also hath put away thy sin, thou shalt not die. God was letting King David know through Nathan that because you've chosen to sin against me, all right, I am going to evil, all right, evil is going to, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, all right. And so we see now that evil has come to pass. Two chapters later, in chapter 13, where one of his sons, Amnon, falls in love with one of his daughters, Tamar, all right. And guys, Tamar is such a pretty name, but I would not ever name my daughter Tamar. Okay, I want us, one day we will also go back to, I believe it's in Genesis, and we're gonna read the story of Judah, all right, and his sons, and Onan, and there's another son, and the wife, Tamar, all right, and she was like down on her luck too, all right, and then here we are again with this beautiful daughter, King David. Like, I can imagine his daughter was beautiful. I can imagine, and that too is an interesting thing. Being a virgin, having that virtue, it draws a lot of sick people to you, whether you're a male or female, because it is precious. It's beautiful to see. You guys have virtue. It's an amazing thing. So guys, we're gonna talk about that more. So if you are a virgin, I want to applaud you for one, because that's a beautiful thing. That's an amazing thing. That you are able to abstain from sex and wait for the Lord to bring your significant other so that you can be in a God-ordained covenant. But I also want to say to you, keep it going, all right? Keep going and keep it up, because you are blessed, and you're literally walking around with so many blessings, you know, literally upon your life, and you might not even know it. And God has greater for you because you have waited on him, okay? So never be weary in well-doing, but know that the Lord, especially for virginity, it is a gift, all right? You're literally walking around with a precious gift, so don't let anybody take it. And guys, we're gonna come back and we're gonna have a discussion about that, all right? But I want us to see that what the Lord said he was going to raise up against King David, which was evil out of his own house, here we're seeing it's forming in chapter 13, okay, and 2 chapters later. And this is why I was telling you guys that you have to be careful of the sins of your forefathers, all right? The sins of your great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, the sins of your grandparents, the sins of your great-grandparents, the sins of your parents. You have to be aware. You have to ask God for forgiveness, and you need to live a righteous life, okay? Not just for yourself, but for your future generations that are going to come forth from you.